Good morning, pilgrims. It is the first week, officially today, on the Via Francesca. We have gone through ups and downs, literally, and also when it comes to the accommodation, we have tasted it all, except for one, which is going to take place today. We have stayed in youth hostels, regular hostels, hotels, pilgrims accommodation, and today we're going to stay at a family home. Family that takes care of pilgrims, which is going to be nice. Last night, I spent the night in prison, literally. I thought it was gonna be a hot night because in there the temperature was high, but the people that were staying there, just regular, travelers, opened the window and opened the main door, and the breeze came right through. Even though I had my little fan, I came prepared, and I may actually get to use it either today or maybe in the days ahead because the temperature is really going up. This morning, one of the guys that was in the room woke up like at 5 in the morning, so that was nice. I didn't have to rely on my alarm. And at 7 in the morning, I had breakfast at a bakery right across from the church. So I have my typical breakfast that I have here in Europe, which is a café con leche or a cappuccino and a chocolate croissant. Today is not gonna be as crazy when it comes to the elevation gains and drops as days pass. We're gonna walk next to the river for a little bit, but of course, towards the end of the day, as always, we have a nice climb ahead. Let's see what the temperature is gonna be like today. Hey Meta, what's the weather forecast for the day?
Today's forecast is mostly sunny with a high of 26 degrees Celsius, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, and a low of 11 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Fahrenheit.
That sounds great. By the way, this video and the series is brought to you by friends of the Via Francesca, Switzerland. Let's get the day started. Today's stage, it's gonna be about the same, about 25, 26 kilometers. That's the average that we've been doing. It's always good to start out slow and gain momentum. But today we're doing something a little bit different. No, we're not taking the train, but we are walking about 9 kilometers past the typical end of the stage. And then just so that tomorrow is a shorter day. It is Wednesday. On Saturday, we're going to be at the pass. Tomorrow, it is May 1st. So tomorrow is going to be a holiday. Everything will be closed. There's a supermarket in the town before where we're going to be staying. So we need to grab supplies, not just for today, but also for tomorrow. Do you see what I mean? 720 meters. And if my eyes do not deceive me, we're sort of following the Camino de Santiago, Jacob's Way. Yep. There's a shooting range not far from here. The soldiers are practicing, and you can hear the gunshots echo in the mountains here. All right, we're out of the forest, but there's a problem here. Check this out. We got a detour sign. Oh man. Hey Meta, what does it say?
The sign indicates that the bike path is closed due to construction work from March 3rd, 2025. Until further notice, a detour is signposted.
Well, that's how it goes. We have to pay attention to what the signs say. I'm so glad that I have these glasses that can translate them for me. Now I'm gonna follow this road all the way down, and hopefully it reconnects a little bit down the line. If not, there's always the river. I know more or less in the direction that I'm going, and you kind of have to stay flexible. The great thing about having the GPS tracks and about having, let's say, Google Earth is that you can zoom out, get a bird's eye view of the area, figure out any detours, any path, how to reconnect further down. If you do get lost, as I kind of did a little bit in the forest, you can either backtrack or maybe keep going and connect with the Camino a little bit further down the line. What else? I also have the drone, so that's a plus for me. I have used it in the past where I have lost the Camino, and all I do is I fly up and I look down, and if it's in Spain, for example, you can definitely see all the pilgrims. You can see the conga line, and you can head in that direction. the shooting stopped already. That's great news. And we're almost at the next town where I have to go and get some supplies. Definitely. Right now, I'm running dry. I do have my water, but that's about it. All right, let's go. Not far from the detour sign, we came across a farm, and the farmers gave us the lowdown. The dog told me that the road wasn't too bad at all, but we're gonna be walking here for about a kilometer or so. This is one of the busiest roads in this canton or province, but not too bad. The shoulder is wide, wider than I've seen it in most places. You know, if you see my videos, you know what the Camino Portuguese like, and the Via Francigena as well. So let's see what it has in store for us. All right, guys, quick progress report. After leaving the highway behind, we made our way through the city, which had no support, and we did stop at a park just for a little bit of a break. Got to see a couple of churches atop the hills, which was a nice highlight on today's stage, and then walk right next to the canal, the river, and all of a sudden, as we were making a small climb, we see this lady coming towards us. And it just so happens to be one of Herman's friend. They both run the association of the Via Jacobi here in the region. So two ladies, they invited us into their home and gave us quite the snack. We were just sitting there enjoying the tapas. It was cheese, bread, sausage, and a rattler. So a nice break on today's stage. Definitely one of the highlights. I always love their hospitality. Right now they were waving goodbye at us from the balcony. And they also told us something very important. We don't have to worry about the supermarkets being closed tomorrow, which is just the best news that we could have gotten. All right, we have to head back to the trail after doing this small climb. Here comes the kids. You know, yesterday at the prison compound where I stay, last night, man, I was just sneezing. I had a runny nose. I think I got the flu. And this morning or this whole day, I just been feeling down, low on energy. But I feel like it's gonna break. It's about to break. It has to break. And what do we have here? According to this sign, which Meta doesn't want to translate correctly, it says the first vineyard on the Rhine River. This is the first one. The last one, who knows where it is, because this river goes all the way to the North Sea. So there has to be quite a few along the way. So this town where I find myself right now, there's a supermarket where we're definitely going to get at least a bite for this afternoon. Herman is going to call the one near or at the town where we're staying just to make sure that they're open tomorrow. We do not want any surprises, any last minute surprises. And just remember, today is day 7. So the first week, this is the first 1/3 of the way. I'm doing this pilgrimage in 21 days exactly. So this is the first 1/3 of the way. I'm not taking any rest days, sadly, but since I will be here in Europe for 90 days exactly, I have only a handful of rest days that I have spread out in between all the caminos that I will be doing. All right, let's go to that supermarket and at least get a Powerade. We found an Italian restaurant where we made a quick stop to enjoy, in my case, a macchiato. Herman had a Coke, and while we were there, he made a phone call to figure out if we could rely on the supermarket for tomorrow's stage, and as it turns out, we are golden, which is great. Right now, we just stopped here at the supermarket, Volk, which I love it because it sounds like vlog, and I just went inside to get a couple of fruits and also a Powerade. Just for the afternoon. I'm feeling a little bit better now. I think my energy is rising. This morning I was on the ground, but that's how it goes. When I had COVID on the Camino Frances, it was even worse than this, and I just pushed through. Because as you guys know, the only way out here is forward. And by the way, look who's here. Look at this. The fan is out. It's gonna be a hot afternoon. Right now we're gonna be exposed to the sun for a little bit, and then we enter the woods. But I'm gonna have my umbrella and my fan blasting the rest of the way. By the way, I forgot to mention, in the town of Bonadut, where I have my break, that was supposed to be the end of the stage, at least, like the official end of the stage, if there's such a thing. But we decided to continue on an extra 9 kilometers, and we're going to do the same tomorrow, just so that the day after, on Friday, it could be a shorter day, because if not, it will be such a massive day that I think it's better. It's better to do it this way, to chop it up into bite-sized sections. And also, since we are here in the valley, in between the mountains, and the train system here and the public transportation in Switzerland is so incredible, you could definitely stay like in one of the major towns or city and use the train as a slack pack style of hiking, where you just leave all your belongings at the hotel. Let's say walk 25 kilometers, take the train back. Then the next day, you're gonna be taking the train back and forward for a while, and then move on to another city down the road, and then do it in reverse, sort of like what I did on the Chicago Henro. You could do the same here, and if you don't want to skip a step along the path. So yes, 9 kilometers now in the forest. It's gonna be beautiful for sure. And then we have a massive climb at the end of the day. It's not massive, but it is at the end of the day. So it will be about 190, maybe 200 meters of elevation in one go. But the best thing about it is that there's a bar at the top where then we're gonna enjoy a beer before we head over to the place, the accommodation, which should be less than a kilometer outside of town. We have dinner included, breakfast included, so it should be nice. All right, let's enjoy this gorgeous forest. Another one here in Switzerland. Look at this. Doesn't this remind you of something in Japan? The long tunnels. This one is 150 meters long. And you know that I have to do it. Every time I reach a tunnel, I have my little routine. Echo! It works. I gotta tell you, the fan and the umbrella is just the perfect combination. But right now we are at the base of the climb. Yes, sir. Close to 200 meters, just a little bit shy. And there it is. Just a few switchbacks, and I'll see you guys at the top. Right now, I think it's time to dump some fuel and go for it. All right, let's go. Well, there you go, guys. After a steep climb, we made it up here to the town. Unfortunately, the bar where we had planned to have a beer for celebration is closed. There is this cafe over here. So our mom went up there to ask and see if they have a beer to celebrate. If not, we'll continue on.
Yes.
You heard that? They have it. So before we continue, let's go have a beer. All right. One beer down and an extra kilometer, and we have finally made it to the B&B where we're gonna be staying today. It is 5:15 in the afternoon, almost 22 kilometers, almost 9 hours walking. I think it's one of the longest days so far. It goes to show you how much up and down we had. Here's the place, pretty cool in this green field with the church, the pastures. I mean, this is just picture perfect. Let's head to the B&B, take a shower, do laundry. What a day. See you in a little bit. And there you have it, guys. The first third of the trip is now behind us. Up ahead is the mountains. We're gonna start climbing in a few days, get to the other side, and the final third of the trip will be in Italy. Just 1 week, but it will be worth it. Just had dinner at 7 o'clock. The sun is about to go over the horizon. The meal was incredible. All local dishes that I'm not even gonna try to name, but this is what it looked like. Just so filling and delicious. It reminds me so much of the Via Podienses, staying at those jeets and the homemade cooking, so that's always good. Clothes are, of course, dried. It's so windy right now that it was gonna do the trick. We're here. There's not much to do other than enjoy the afternoon, and tomorrow we got another day. It's gonna be interesting. We got a few twists in store for you. So see you then.